Great internal auditors develop a skill that goes beyond technical proficiency, the ability to process information that isn't found in a ledger. This requires a specific approach to listening. Take a common fieldwork scenario. You approach a department head with a list of specific questions, expecting direct answers. Instead, they provide 20 minutes of context regarding plant operations, logistical hurdles, and the history of their department's survival. An inexperienced auditor views this as a distraction, but a seasoned risk expert recognizes these stories as a map of actual operational dynamics. Standardized questionnaires are just the baseline. True depth comes from conversational threads outside the original scope. Operational bottlenecks and cultural fractures are often buried in the noise of everyday conversation. Uncovering them requires moving past the structured framework and into the narrative of the employees. Some of the most significant corporate intelligence resides on the periphery of an organization. Consider a case involving the discovery of a complex, long-running financial fraud. The person who provided the critical lead was not a financial officer or a plant manager. It was a security guard patrolling a residential township. Because an auditor took the time to listen, they were able to connect the guard's observations to the underlying mechanisms of the company's ground-level operations. This method also highlights positive cultural controls. In a different audit, informal conversations in a company cafeteria revealed that employees felt a deep respect for their leadership, a sentiment that turned the workforce into a natural barrier against unethical behavior. This environment of trust meant that when mistakes happened, employees felt comfortable admitting them immediately rather than attempting to conceal the evidence. These organic, ethical controls are difficult to capture through traditional data points. Assessing the true health of a company culture often requires an auditor to prioritize active observation over the spreadsheet. This focus on listening also dictates how well you receive instructions from within your own audit team. Risks are not uniform. A high-priority area at one manufacturing site may be completely irrelevant at another. Applying a generic approach to every client ignores the specific context provided during the planning phase. If you are not fully present when a manager outlines the specific objectives of a new engagement, you are likely to overlook the unique risks of the assignment. Misinterpreting the initial briefing leads to fieldwork that is technically accurate but strategically disconnected from the audit's goal. To reach an elite level of risk assessment, you must incorporate 3 psychological techniques into your interview process. The first is the golden silence. Most people find gaps in conversation uncomfortable and will attempt to fill those gaps with more information. When a subject provides an incomplete answer, wait. Maintain eye contact and stay silent for 3 seconds. Often, the person will keep talking to resolve the tension, providing the exact detail you were looking for. Second, listen for what is missing. If a manager explains procurement delays by focusing exclusively on vendor quality but omits the approval process, that omission identifies exactly where you need to investigate next. Finally, use visual listening. Physical cues, such as tensed posture or avoiding eye contact during discussions about scrap sales, can be as informative as the verbal response. The most relevant audit evidence is frequently found in the subjects that people choose to avoid or physically guard. To improve these skills, practice active listening in your next professional interaction without offering any interruptions. Take brief notes, and once the speaker has finished, summarize their key points back to them to verify your understanding. This exercise tests your cognitive processing. It highlights the difference between simply hearing words and actually absorbing the information provided. Listening is a professional skill that requires deliberate practice. Strengthening it leads to more precise fieldwork and a clearer understanding of the risks within any organization.